G'day. Today in the warehouse we've got the new BFGoodrich trail terrain tyre. So this is their tyre that sort of sits below the KO2 in terms of aggressiveness. So they're targeting this at your CUVs, SUVs, so the smaller vehicles, and some ute usage as well. For those that are primarily on the road, but they might go off the road very occasionally. So they say that they're good for some soft dirt usage and probably gravel and that sort of stuff. So they're not your aggressive, hardcore all-terrains that you would used to seeing with the KO2, but they do have some tread depth and they do have some aggressiveness and they do have reasonable protection on the sidewalls as well. So again, if you've got the family car and you're commuting in it 99% of the time, but you do go off-road or on a trail to a surf spot or something like that once or twice a year or every few weekends or whatever, this would actually be a really good choice for you because they've actually got a reasonably aggressive look. Because we all know that look comes into it these days. But some of the tread pattern features are actually interesting because they're, it's sort of a mixture of that, what we would classify here as a proper all-terrain tyre versus a highway terrain, all-terrain tyre. So if we look at the tread face first, the first thing that I noticed was that we have these really continuous outer shoulders. So there is no real separate lugs here, although they do have these what they call full locking sipes. So the sipes go all the way to the carcass of the tyre, and they have these little extra things in them to lock them in. So when they're actually gripping, they will actually lock together. But this full length shoulder block will actually mean that the road noise is less likely to actually come out the side of the tyre. So that should make them a nice quiet tyre. And then if you look closely in the middle, there's these blocks that are actually relatively locked together. So they've got sort of a half depth sipe here in the middle, or groove, or what do you want to call this, in the middle. And so that means you get better steering response from these tyres. Otherwise, if you look at it, they've got these sipes that run across the centre of the tyre. And so these are, again, those full locking centre sipes, or full locking sipes. These tyres are actually 3 Peak Mountain Snowflake rated as well. So if you're watching this and you're in a snowy territory or an area that gets more snow, then 3 Peak Mountain Snowflake means that they're more likely to stay conformable in low temperatures. So if you're on snow and maybe on ice, they'll perform better than a tyre that isn't 3 Peak Mountain Snowflake rated. So again, they're not a replacement for a full winter tyre or a studded tyre or whatever, but they will give more protection if you are going from the dry up into the snow or whatever. So if we look at the sidewall, then first thing that springs out to me is that it's actually still got a relatively aggressive upper sidewall here. So we have these alternating slightly raised bits and versus the flat bits, and so they will help you dig out of a little bit of soft stuff should you get stuck. And there is some protection in here in this upper sidewall as well, but again, when you've got it on the car at the shopping mall, it's going to look particularly excellent as well. So it's always a consideration. On the rest of the sidewall, these don't come with white writing, and they are symmetric tyres, so they are the same both ways, so you can mount them either direction. There is no rim protector here as well. So maybe I should talk about the sizings for these. So at the moment they come in 47 different sizes, between 235 75 R15 and 285 45 R22. This is a relatively new tyre as we make this video, so they may add more sizes as they go. You might even start to see some of these tyres popping up OEM, so on new cars, because that's actually an angle of the market that they're looking for with this one. If you think about weight, so we use the 265 65 R17 as our the tyre we check weight for, and that's generally this one in the 265 65 R17 is 16.9 kilos. Tread depth, you're looking at 9.9 mil. So that's actually a reasonable amount of tread depth in comparison to some other ATs. ATs of a similar inclination. Your more aggressive ones, you'll start to see sort of 14, 15 mil, but that's quite a lot of tread depth. The other thing to know about these as well is that they do actually carry a 6-year warranty with a 30-day satisfaction guarantee. I haven't looked deeply into the warranty, and if you care about warranties, you should probably look deeply into that warranty to make sure you're actually going to be covered by it. That's sort of a tyre review top tip, to make sure that you obey what the warranty actually wants from you before you need the warranty rather than after you need the warranty, because to get these warranties on, not necessarily saying on these tyres, but on many tyres, there are aspects of management or ownership of tyres that you actually need to consider. Actually, before we go, one other thing I noticed about this tyre is that the carcass is actually a relatively stiff carcass in comparison to some other tyres in this category. So we have one of the tyres behind me actually has a really flexible carcass for a similar load tyre. So it's interesting to see it actually does have some stiffness to it as well. So something to consider there. All right, so that's the new BFGoodrich Trail Terrain. If you've got any questions, if I forgot to mention anything, ask in the comments below. If you want to sling some mud because I forgot something, then let me know in the comments. I'm always up for some argy-bargy. Otherwise, next video that we'll release on this one is actually a comparison between the Trail Terrain and the KO2, just to have a close look at the difference between the two. I'll see you there.